Pregame.com.
More best bet action in the NFL, this time for Marco D'Angelo. The matchup between the Bears and the Arizona Cardinals. The Chicago Bears, a 5.5-point favorite, total sitting at 36.5. And Marco, we've talked about it last week. We talked about it now this week. Arizona off that horrible 58-0 loss 2 Sundays ago to the Seattle Seahawks. And then we talked about it on First Preview and also here on the videos about how NFL teams do off those big 30 and 35-point losses. In fact, they're now 69-46 against the spread, 60% winners if they're off a loss of 35 or more. What was funny is Arizona almost completely turned the tables on Detroit, winning by 28. But here's the thing about this game. Part of that play for me, I was on Arizona. Part of the play was going against the very dysfunctional Detroit Lions. Now, Chicago's not dysfunctional. They're just not that good, and they're getting beat. But I look at this, and I'm thinking, wow, Detroit was 6.5 at Arizona last week, and Chicago's only 5.5. What do you think about this game?
Well, obviously, you compare the two, and you hit the nail on the head. You know, I had Arizona. It was my video best bet last week, and that was the reason. I was going as much against Detroit as I was taking Arizona. We knew we were going to get a motivated effort from Arizona, but they're a bad team. Would that be enough? Well, the fact that they were playing a team that had no reason to play, coming off a Sunday night game, it even, it made it attractive to take Arizona. Here, Chicago, yeah, they're playing bad, but, they need the game. I mean, they're sitting at 8-6. They can't afford another loss. They need the game to stay alive in the playoff race. Arizona, they got to feel a little bit comfortable. Hey, okay, we were embarrassed at Seattle. We got the win. Now we're back to reality. We suck. And
Are they really saying that?
Well, look at what they did.
They might be. They're that bad.
They won 38-10. Right. They scored 38 points. I took the win, and I cashed the ticket, and I don't care how I won. Right. But if you look at the 38 points, you see somebody puts up 38 points. You go to dig into the box score.
I think you're going to see some offense.
You didn't see any offense. It was 196 yards of offense, and they got 37. They had a couple defensive scores. Again, the Detroit Lions.
How good is that yards per point?
The Lions do what the Lions do best. They literally effed the game up. That's what they did. So, as much as you don't want to take a team.
Well, I'm too late. I was going to say, don't give away too much. Okay. It is your best bet, but you've kind of gone there anyway. But just hold off a second. I want to ask Bryan something here. Now, Chicago's defense, they're not completely healthy. Urlacher's still out. We don't know if Jennings is going to play. I think he's questionable as we record this in their defensive backfield. You ain't got to be. You don't have to be healthy to play Arizona and win. You just have to not turn the ball over like Detroit did. Ryan Lindley, no touchdown passes, 8 interceptions. I think this is just what the doctor ordered for that Chicago defense.
Yeah, this is one of those games. Whoever scores first probably wins this game because neither team has an offense at all. You talked about Arizona not getting to 200 yards last week. 4 of the last 5 games, Arizona hasn't gotten to 200 yards. And you take a look at the yards per pass attempts for Arizona the last 3 weeks, 4.6, 2.8, 1.8. If you can't pass the ball out Chicago and all you have to do is run, you're in bad shape. My only concern about Chicago is, they're 0-5 this year when they don't win the turnover battle. Mm-hmm. And we go back to early in the season when they got +4, +5, +4. It was just crazy how they were winning those games. Since they got to the point where they didn't have those huge turnover advantages, they're a totally different team. So if they're not turning somebody over, they're not going to win. Now, on the opposite side is you got an Arizona team right now who can't move the football. Mm-hmm. So they're going to have to force themselves to throw the ball downfield, which you would think when you put 2 and 2 together, Chicago's going to force some turnovers here, so it may be ugly. First team to 10 is going to win this game because I'm not sure either one of them is going to get there. But I kind of like the under here. But with the line of 36, you don't have much breathing room.
Arizona last in the league in total offense, last in the league in rushing. I don't know about you guys. We live in Vegas, so we're not really a long way away from Phoenix, but it's still a few-hour drive. And I heard this thank you when it was announced that John Skelton wasn't going to have to start last week. I heard Skelton actually say thank you all the way from Arizona. And if you are a team, because he's got this horrible offensive line to play behind, if you're a team that realizes week 15, week 16, that your offensive MVP for the year was Cobb, you're not a really good team. This is your best bet.
Yeah, and take that one step further. Cobb didn't even start the season. Remember?
That's true.
He lost the battle in preseason. He came in because Skelton got hurt. Looking at this game, I'm going to be on Chicago. Generally, I don't like to take teams in must-win situations, playing on the road, laying points. But here I got to make an exception. And the reason, you've got an Arizona team, they are terrible. And I can't say terrible and emphasize it more. They only have 3 covers in their last 11 games. The 3 games they covered because they had a 14-3 turnover edge in those 3 games. Chicago's not going to turn the ball over like that, because in this game, they're not going to have that many possessions probably to turn it over. Chicago Cutler, I'm not a fan of Cutler, especially after last week. And this guy, have you ever noticed every single time he's having a bad game, he starts doing this with his shoulder or his knee hurts?
You should see what I do when I'm having a bad day.
The guy's not, a tough quarterback, but he's not going to
come on. He took a lot of hits last year and hung in there, I thought.
We're going to go with Chicago. We're going to lay the points. We're going to make it our video best bet. Take Chicago. I have them winning the game by 11 points. And if you want to be a little bit safer, like Bryan said in the Carolina game, you might want to look at them on a teaser, get this game to just win it. But I do think Chicago does get it by double digits. That's my video best bet.
So an 11-0 final, is that what you're looking at? Maybe 13-2. Marco says lay the points with the Chicago Bears. I'm with them. I think Bryan is too. I'm looking at what's coming up next. More Marco. I guess it's pregame.tv/Marco. And all Marco all the time. We got the Niners and the Seahawks up next. Seahawks laying 1, 39.5. Stick around for that.